across from Main Street, we can do it. I want to start off by introducing myself and our national director. My name is Ryan Landers. I'm the state director for the American Alliance for Medical Cannabis. And this is Dr. Jay Kavanaugh. He's our national director. Give him a big hand.
Good afternoon to all of you from San Francisco to Los Angeles to DC to Palm Springs and everywhere else. Welcome. And as we come to order, quick housekeeping. We promised the CHP we're not going to violate health and safety code and not smoke. We're not going to smoke here on the lawn of the Capitol, even though many of you feel it's your right as citizens to do so. But we have medical over here in between the trees. If you need it, get over in the shade. We want you to drink plenty of water today. This is going to be a long event. We don't want anyone dehydrated. If you need sunblock, we've got sunblock. If you have sunburn, go on over, we have solar cane. Now let me set the stage. This is a demonstration showing the unity of groups from all over the nation. And the unity is to demand that our own state officials support us against the federal government. Now, for 10 years, as a state pharmacy commissioner, my office was right across the street, 1020 N Street. And you ask, what has to happen to a pharmacy commissioner to make him director of a cannabis organization? He gets sick. And I pray that people like John Ashcroft and Asa Hutchinson don't have to experience what we have, to come to the realization that we have safe, non-toxic medicine that works. Now finally, I want to thank Ryan Landers, Hillary McQuee from ASA, Steph Scher from ASA, the people from Drug Policy Alliance, and all of the speakers. And I want to dedicate this day to those who couldn't be here. Those in exile in Canada, those who are too sick, like my friend Laura Cardin, who could not come today because she's dying of brain cancer. I want to dedicate this to all those sitting in federal dungeons for just trying to feel better. And finally, I want to dedicate this to the students, the young people who may finally bring some sanity to drug policy in this nation. And with that, I'll be roaming around to meet you and give you back to Ryan Landers. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Jay Kavanaugh. Let's give him a round. Okay, to start this event off, I would like to start off by reading a letter from a congressman. Congressman Henry Waxman asked me to read this because he couldn't join us today. It says, "Dear friends, I am delighted to send my best wishes to you as you gather to support the medical use of marijuana. I regret that I cannot be with you today, but am pleased to join in this important issue. I have long believed that people in advanced stages of terminal diseases such as cancer and AIDS should receive compassionate pain relief, and I support the compassionate use of prescription drugs and therapies, including medical marijuana. Like you, I have been very disheartened and outraged at the Department of Justice's recent raids and seizures at cannabis clubs throughout California. It is inconceivable to me that precious federal resources are being used to fight sick people when our nation faces unprecedented threats. Thank you for fighting this important fight, and please be assured that I stand with you. Sincerely, Henry A. Waxman, Member of Congress." And I would like to thank some people. I want to thank Kevin Zeese and Normal and the Students for Sensible Drug Policy, the Americans for Safe Access, and all of you for coming out today. Now I want to introduce you to my co-host, Steph Scher.
Thank you all for coming. I want everyone to look to the left, to the right of yourselves, look behind you. This is the medical marijuana constituency. Both our state and federal officials cannot ignore people who are compassionate and who are looking to end this war against the sick and dying in California. I am honored to be here with all of you today. I know that it wasn't easy for everyone to travel here to the Capitol, but this is the time right now. This is the time that we're going to push medical marijuana forward. We're going to end this war. Every single one of you that are here today are important to this movement, are vital to this movement. For every one of you that are here, there are hundreds of people who could not make it to Sacramento. There are hundreds of people that are lying in their bed, hoping that we can bring some relief to this attack on their lives from the federal government. You should feel honored to be here. You should feel that you are part of history as we push the repressive federal government back and we live in compassion and healing in the state of California.
And now I would like to introduce and thank our first speaker. He's been a wonderful advocate on our behalf. He's the San Francisco District Attorney, Terrence Hallinan.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be saying that I have been an advocate and a spokesperson or defender of the medical marijuana movement, because coming from San Francisco, any person from that town knows the genuineness of the medical marijuana movement. Everybody from San Francisco has friends and relatives and people who use marijuana and swear to them that it is saving their lives. Now, it may well be that Congress, as the Supreme Court has recently said, has made a determination that marijuana has no medical benefits, that there is no defense of medical necessity. But the people of the state of California have also made a determination. They have determined that marijuana saves lives, eases pain, and reduces suffering. Where are our representatives on this issue? How many members of our congressional delegation have signed on to Representative Barney Frank's legislation to reschedule marijuana so a doctor can prescribe it? How many senators and assembly people in this building have made clear that the medical use of marijuana is the law in the state of California? In San Francisco, we have implemented Proposition 215 as it was intended. Doctors' recommendations are taken to the health department. An ID card is issued. Clubs are available where marijuana can be obtained by those who are entitled to use it. Purchases of marijuana by sick people no longer take place in San Francisco in the streets and the parks. The clubs have become centers for support, care, and companionship for sick and dying people. As a result, the DA is happy, the police and sheriff are happy, and the people of San Francisco have twice said by 80% margins that this is what they want to see in our city. Unfortunately, it is also true that under federal law, marijuana, medical or not, is still considered illegal. A conflict like that is ordinarily reconciled through judicial restraint on the part of the federal government. United States attorneys should refrain from filing charges in this state where doing so directly conflicts with California law. Federal judges should not treat marijuana proponents as drug dealers. After all, what is the purpose of government? To enact the people's wishes or to enforce racist and reactionary moral codes from another era? Let us go forth from here. Let us go forth from here and insist that every one of our elected officials, from city councils to Congress, from mayors to governors, and all of the 57 other district attorneys in California, defend the wishes of the voters of this state. I urge the federal government to stay out of our business. Leave health and safety to those who are best able to deal with it, the people of the state of California. Thank you.
Thank you, Terrence Hallinan. He's been a wonderful outspoken advocate for us, and we really appreciate him. And I'd like to announce any of you who haven't signed up who are scheduled speakers, please sign up over here at this table and let everybody know that you are here. Next, I would like to bring up Sister Samaya.
Yay! Go 215! 215, go!
For the Crescent City Sickle Cell Self-Help, she's definitely made herself a name in the movement throughout the state of California.
We have a round of applause for Sister Samaya and all of her work in Los Angeles. It's an inspiration to all of us.
Greetings, choir. Greetings, comrade. My name is Queen Nigga Samaya Kambui. I'm from Los Angeles, Southern California. I'm a native Californian. And I'm here. I'm here today like you are. I'm here to effect change, to make positive a change today where it wasn't yesterday. Is that why you're here today? Well, before I begin, let me do a little tune to kind of loosen you up a little bit. This tune is called Ja Herb. Can you hear me? Ja Herb, give it to the people, Ja Herb. Yes, give it, Doctor, Ja Herb. Give it to the people, Ja Herb. Got to give it to the people. MD's got the people on their knees. Sorcery is making a killing under too much suffering. Give the herb, let Jah do the healing, Jah herb. Yes, give it to the people, Jah herb. Give it, doctor, Jah herb. Give it to the people, Jah herb. Won't you give it to the people. If you know someone is sick and down, can't lift their head, can't get around. If you know someone is not quite right, needs some fire, needs some fight. If you know someone is not quite well, AIDS, a cancer, a sickle cell, And if you know someone who's down and sick, you want them to get up quick, child. I'll give it to the people, child. Won't you give it, doctor, doctor? Child, give it to the people. I want to give it to the people. Yeah. We're a new war. When I was young, it was the Vietnam War, and it was called war-resistant time. The new war resistors are the medical marijuana patients. The new war resistors are the caregivers. I want you to say Wakumala for me. Wakumala. That means after over 5 years, these other punkers have procrastinated. They've jived, backpedaled, and pussyfooted, shirked their responsibilities and obligations. They work for us. When the feds going everywhere, raiding everybody, they didn't want to deal with Queen Nigga Samaya because Queen Nigga Samaya is a Vietnam veteran, and her letter comes from a federal doctor. Duh. Okay, so the local yokels say, well, we'll shut her down. And I gotta go, but they said I grew 200 pounds a pop. Now, we've made change because whatever you grow, if it's 200 acres, it's for medicine, they gotta wakumala. They gotta walk away. I want every one of you, before we leave today, to give me your email, your phone number, because we are waging a moratorium. We are waging a campaign to make them walk away if they see medical marijuana plants. Wakumala. Walk away when they see plants in the possession of people, and give all Californians the benefit of the doubt. Wakumala. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Samaya. Next, we want to bring up an infamous civil rights attorney, Tony Serra, close friend of mine, wonderful guy. Tony, 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 Tony.
In part, we're here today to pay our respect and to ask a judge, either directly or indirectly by our presence and by our protests and through the legal memorandum that's been filed, to show some compassion for Brian Epis. Brian Epis is in a steel cage about 4 blocks away. He was one of the forerunners. In 1997, he established a cannabis dispensary in Chico, California, and was arrested the same year. The case ultimately went federal. After a trial of approximately 3 weeks, approximately 4 months ago, he was found guilty by a federal jury. Today was his sentencing date. It's been postponed till October 7th. He faces a mandatory 10 years to life. He should be with us here and now. Not fair. Not good for this country. It's an ugly act of sadism on the part of the DEA and the federal prosecutors. Brian, on one side of his personality, shows great compassion, a gentle human being, a good feeling, sensitive human being. On the other side, he has the courage of a marijuana medical martyr. He knew what the case entailed. He went bravely to his judicial demise. He sits in there waiting for justice. He's a person who had, at a relatively young age, a bachelor's degree in science. He was going to law school at the time that he was arrested. He has since graduated from law school. His record is impeccable. He had no monetary concerns. He did this in 1997 because it was legal. He was advised by attorneys it was legal. And he did it as an act of compassion. He is one of the best of us. The case obviously will be appealed. Whatever sentence he received, it will be appealed. The case is fraught with a number of meaningful constitutional issues. We believe that if the judge remains objective, he will give bail on appeal on October 7th, and we will pursue this case through the appellate process, if required, to the U.S. Supreme Court. This case has all of the federal constitutional issues that must ultimately be honored and respected. Brian Epis, through me, says to you he loves you. He will take strength from you. Please give him your prayer. Give him your energy. He symbolizes all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Sarah. Another little housekeeping event. We need to make sure we keep this area to this entrance of the Capitol open. So please don't block the space over there to the Capitol. Okay, next I would like to bring up someone from San Francisco. Wayne Justman. So from San Francisco Patients Resource Center.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
And I want to thank everybody to coming to the largest medical marijuana protest in the state capitol. Give yourselves a round of applause.
I will, thank you. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to you. You have heard some speakers before you and those that will come after to say how important this purpose and this situation is for all of us who are seriously ill and use cannabis. It's important for us as activists to continue to work strenuously and work hard with our elected officials to make certain that the November elections reflect the will of the people of California, and that in the year to come that you work with elected officials in your area to make sure that the departments of public health understand your needs and that elected officials and law enforcement understand your needs. These situations that Valerie and Mike Corral go through, and the Osbornes go through, and Peter McWilliams goes through, and Brian Epis goes through. These things have to stop. The insanity of our government. Let me be brief here, and I just want to tell you the irony that I see in our fight. If we were warlords or landowners in Afghanistan, months ago the federal government, our government came in and the Defense Department came in, and there was a field of opium plants and poppy plants that were growing. And our government decided, because those warlords needed that money for the economics of the area, that they decided to let that come to harvest. Yet they want to come into California and into people's homes and bother them and upset their lives and take from them. It is legal terrorism by our government, and that's got to stop. Continue the struggle, continue the fight, work very, very hard. The victory will be ours. Hard gained or not, the victory will be ours. Thank you very, very much.
Now we're getting out the umbrellas. We have 100 umbrellas for people for shade. I appreciate you guys coming out here in the heat. I know it's going to be a warm day, but we're fired up, aren't we? Now, one of the most special things of all for this event needs to go to Senator John Vasconcellos for co-sponsoring our event. No, you guys can do better than that. Come on, he got us the PA system. And speaking on Senator Vasconcellos' behalf is Sue North, his Chief of Staff.
Thank you very much, everybody. I want you all to quickly look up for just a second. The sky has not fallen. Proposition 215 passed by the voters in this state 6 long years ago. The sky has not fallen. Law enforcement officials, not just from San Francisco, but from Butte County, from Los Angeles, from San Diego, a whole host of places in this state, have come to the belief that 215 can work. At some point in time, the federal government will have to come to the same belief. It may be that we have to depend on enlightened federal judges, enlightened state officials, and enlightened local law enforcement officials who, as late as last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, made the determination in Butte County. The district attorney and the sheriff have instructed their police not to take the DEA with them unless they know that the place that they're going has over a certain quantity of marijuana on the premises. That, my friends, is dramatic progress. We are not going back. We will never go back. All of you are the soldiers in this war, and you deserve a great round of applause. Why are they attacking California? Because you are not in the closet. You're not going back into the closet. You will never go in the closet again. Medicinal use is a legitimate practice. Over half the states in this country allow for compassionate use today. Yet the federal raids are here. Why? Because you are out front and speaking out for your rights and your freedoms. Senator Vasconcellos has attempted to pass legislation to implement this proposition in more detail. We will be back at it in January, and I'm delighted to say it looks like we're going to have at least the willing ear of the governor and the Attorney General to finally bring this to some kind of closure and assure ourselves legal access for all patients, legal access to all patients without fear of incarceration and terrorism, absolutely. Okay, thank you again for coming here. Please come back. Don't be strangers. This is your capital. The people are with you, we are with you, and we'll be here to serve you next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue North. Next, we're going to bring up an author and editor, Alan Bach. Give him a nice round of applause.
It's pretty neat, isn't it? I want to say the same thing that I said at a conference on medical ethics at UC Irvine about a year ago, and that is that the war against medical marijuana is a triumph of politics over science, a triumph of politics over compassion, and I believe a triumph of a small coterie of political fanatics over federal law the way federal law is written right now. And I'm going to quote from my book, Waiting to Inhale, to demonstrate this. Now, the first thing is, after California passed Proposition 215 in 1996, the then drug czar, Barry McCaffrey, commissioned a report from the Institute of Medicine. The Institute of Medicine is an ad hoc federal body that's brought together from time to time when medical issues and public policy intersect. And they did an entire book on this, and let me quote. Advances in cannabinoid science of the past 16 years have given rise to a wealth of new opportunities for the development of medically useful cannabinoid-based drugs. The accumulated data suggest a variety of indications, particularly for pain relief, antiemesis, and appetite stimulation. For patients such as those with AIDS or who are undergoing chemotherapy and who suffer simultaneously from severe pain, nausea, and appetite loss, cannabinoid drugs might offer broad-spectrum relief not found in any other single medication. This is the report Barry McCaffrey commissioned. I don't think it's what he expected, but that's what they get. This is the federal government talking. They know. And I think Barry McCaffrey's successor and Asa Hutchinson should not be allowed to speak a word about medical marijuana until they have read the Institute of Medicine report and passed a test on it. Now, you know what the Institute of Medicine says, that there are medical uses. Now, under federal law, there are various schedules. Marijuana is on Schedule 1, totally prohibited. It can't be used for anything. Here are the criteria for Schedule 1. If it doesn't meet these criteria, it doesn't belong there. A, the drug or other substance has a high potential for abuse. B, the drug or other substance has no currently accepted medical use in treatment in the United States. C, there is a lack of accepted safety for the use of the drug or other substance under medical supervision. If it doesn't meet all that criteria, it's illegal for it to be on Schedule 1. So we need to talk the federal government into obeying their own laws. And leave medical patients alone. Now, my idea would be that all the local sheriffs in California would tell the DEA that they don't have any authority to go anywhere unless they first get permission from the sheriffs. And if they disobey, they're subject to arrest. I don't know how many sheriffs that go along with that, but that fits. And I was a states writer a long time ago, and I'm more and more of a states writer because it protects our freedom from the federal imperialists. This is a great group. Keep that enthusiasm going. We will win because science, the law, common sense, and compassion are all on our side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ellen Bach. Are you guys hot? Are you fired up? Let's hear it. I'm sorry, I didn't hear some people back there. Are you fired up? I have a couple announcements to make. We have umbrellas in the back to help you with some of this sun. Make your own shade. Over here, we're serving food, and we have iced down water, so grab some because it's hot. Keep drinking water. It is. On Wednesday, students for Sensible Drug Policy came into Berkeley and brought in fire for this event. Went to campuses around California, helped organize students, and it's my honor to introduce to you Sean Heller, the Director of Students for Sensible Drug Policy.
Hey, everybody! Woo! Everyone hot?
Everyone pumped? Everyone excited? We are here today in the largest ever medical marijuana rally on the capital of California. We are here because the federal government is not following California laws, not allowing us to have our, well, not us, but everybody here to have our own determination about what to do about medicine for patients. I come from the land of hypocrisy. I flew in this week from Washington, D.C., where the hypocrites live. We have people like George W. Bush, who's got their youthful indiscretions, Al Gore with his marijuana smoking, neither of which are patients, yet they both support the DEA coming in and raiding these buyers clubs, arresting these patients, and pointing weapons at cancer and AIDS patients. And the students are here today to say, stop it. DEA, cease and desist. Now, we sort of coined the term the DARE generation to describe ourselves at SSDP, because we're the first generation of students and youth who grew up during the DARE program. We're the first generation of students to grow up at a time in which medical marijuana patients were being arrested, during a time in which mandatory minimum sentences were created, and all these laws are just products of a failed drug war. And as students who grew up with these laws, as youth who grew up, and it was our name that's been used, it's our name that's being used to validate, to attempt to validate pointing weapons at patients. We have to protect the children. We have to protect the students. That is the dogma. That is the excuse. And we are those students, and we haven't been protected. There isn't a single drug-free high school, and we're saying stop using our names to arrest medical marijuana patients. This drug war has failed. We have over 500,000 nonviolent drug offenders in prisons today, many of which are patients. We have people who are suffering from ailments who can't get their medicine. We have people in clubs who are being called crack house promoters. And we need to stop all this. The youth are here. Dan Safe is here. Students for Sensible Drug Policy is here. Prison Moratorium Project is here. The Libertarian Youth is here. The Green Party Youth is here. We are the new youth, and we're going to stand up for your rights. We're going to stand up, and we're going to continue to support these rallies. We're going to be a part of these rallies, and we're going to say no more using our name. No more using the DARE generation to promote these bad, bad, bad laws. Now it's my pleasure to announce, introduce two of our best activists, two young ladies who I've been working with over the last 2 years who come from UC Berkeley that have built a phenomenal network there, who have brought many people out to this demonstration today. And they have been kicking some ass and are going to continue to kick some ass. And I want to introduce Scarlett and Rebecca. Thank you very much.
One of the first things we learned in school is that the United States of America is a democracy, and that one of the most important things you can do as a citizen is vote. A lot of us here are students, and at least at Berkeley, we've learned some other things. Put simply, sometimes the process doesn't work. When the struggle is this intense, when the stakes are this high, sometimes the process doesn't work. We voted for Prop 215. We've lobbied and contacted our representatives. We've signed petitions after petitions. We've done everything we can within the process to ensure that the sick and dying patients have access to medical marijuana. We've won this battle with reason. We know we're right. 3/4 of the country agrees that the federal government shouldn't be busting and terrorizing patients and their caregivers. Medical marijuana is one of the least controversial issues in the country. We've won on reason. All that they have left is force. This is about the DEA thugs holding guns to the heads of sick and dying patients and saying, "Get the fuck up." When the struggle is this intense, when the stakes are this high, all we can do is get the fuck up. All we can do is get to the streets, go to the Capitol, go to the federal building, and say we've had enough. We're going to put our bodies on the line. We're going to put democracy into action. Henry David Thoreau, one of our favorite Americans, said, "Unjust laws exist. Shall we be content to obey them, or shall we endeavor to amend them and obey them until we have succeeded, or shall we transgress them at once?" If it is the nature of the law that it requires you to be the agent of injustice to another, then I say, break the law. Let your life be a counter-friction to stop the machine. As individuals, we cannot pledge allegiance to an unjust government, one that terrorizes the sick and the dying. And we demand that our representatives sitting in the state capitol, we demand that they stand up for us. That they stand up for California. And they stand up for the law, which is safe access. Our vote counts! 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 Thank you very much.
And thank you to all of the students for Sensible Drug Policy. We really appreciate your presence.